Hi, welcome back. I hope you had a wonderful week and you're ready for another Insider. This week, I will be talking about something I've promised since the beginning of the year, which is talking about my experience at Udemy and setting up courses, publishing courses, and things like that. Sometimes it might be a daunting task. I know it was for me. And I'm here to share my mistakes and what probably I should have done better so I avoid you doing the same thing. So stick around. Let's go for another insider. So let's talk about courses and Udemy. So as I said, and you know, I have already spoke about this several times. I have launched a course about translation. The aim of the course was to set up your business plan. So, getting everything ready, plan everything from your qualifications to membership with the association membership and things like that. Um, so, when you start your business, you have everything ready, you know your finances, you know how much you will need for that initial investment and things like that. So, from the start of my career, this has always been in my mind because I know that when I started, it was a little, I was not a little, I was completely in the dark, and it was kind of difficult to set up all of this and have all of this ready for me. So I thought that I could use my experience and share it with people so my colleagues that are now starting out could avoid making the mistakes that I've made and could do it better so they could achieve their goals faster. That was the whole plan, that was the goal of my course. Because I had done a few courses at Udemy as a student, and I have already mentioned them as well. I've done my WordPress course with Greg Davis, which I recommend and was great. I've done a few other courses there, and I kind of liked the experience as a student. It was nice, the courses were nice. Um, I know the platform has great exposure, so I thought, well, I'm going to give it a go, and I'm publishing my courses there. I saw a few other platforms, but in terms of costs, it would be, so I thought back then, not as good as what Udemy was offering me. So I thought, okay, I'm going to go with Udemy. Well, from the start, it was a disaster. I must say, I'm terribly disappointed with my experience there. Um, I don't think instructors are treated properly. In fact, I think they treat the instructors with very, 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 very poorly. Um, and if you complain, it doesn't matter, they won't answer your complaint. So I'm going to tell you my experience. For starters, if you are a foreigner, which I was, I'm not an American citizen, I'm not registered in America, it is quite hard to navigate, especially because there is some regulation in regards to taxation, and some forms that you need to fill in, namely the ban form. And obviously, if you are in the United States, or if you have done business with the United States and you have done this form before, you might be a little familiar with it. But if you're not, which was my case, it might be hard to navigate because you have to provide that you are exempt from the taxes, etc., because you are a foreigner. But then that may not be the case because the United States also wants you to pay tax, whatever, and you have to go through pages and pages and pages and pages of text that are time consuming, that do not provide really good information, and you end up running around in circles. And I kept on going back and forth with Udemy, and it all started with my citizenship. As you know, I am a Portuguese national. I was born in Portugal, but I live in Australia for more than 10 years. I moved here in 2006, and I am a permanent resident in Australia. I hold a current visa that I may remain in the country. I'm fully lawful in the country. I can work, I pay my taxes, etc., etc. However, when you fill in all the forms in Udemy, the problem is with automated systems that are not flexible for things like that, and I find quite remarkable that they don't, because these days chances are you're gonna find someone in somewhere that wasn't born there. Migration is a thing, and everyone moves around the world, and everyone ends up in a different country. So I don't see why it is so complicated for them to adapt their systems to different realities. So they want you to put your passport, your identification, which in my case has to be my passport. I put my passport, which is a Portuguese passport. But then, because I have residency in Australia, and I declared that I was a resident in Australia because that's the country where I pay taxes, they did not want to accept my passport because did not correspond to my residence, rather. Of course it doesn't, but I explained. I sent an email and I said, well, I am a Portuguese national, but I am an Australian permanent resident, and that's where I pay taxes. So the response I've got was rather bizarre, because they told me, okay, then insert your Brazilian passport, which, excuse me, Brazilian passport? I did not mention Brazil at all. So it was quite bizarre. I answered them that. Did not get any response whatsoever, which I obviously realized it was a Portuguese passport. I put the Portuguese passport again, and then I put my residence, I put Portugal as my nationality, blah, blah, blah. And things went from there. I published the course, and then they came up with this ban form that you have to fill in, and obviously I filled it in, etc., etc. And hell breaks loose again. They accepted that my residency was in Australia, but then the tax thing. And there is an agreement between Australia and the United States that Australian nationals or residents do not pay tax and have an exemption. However, you have to go through a lengthy website, because you have to provide which article is this, which paragraph it mentions that you are exempt, etc., etc. So basically, you have to do all the work for them. They are very unhelpful. They really do not help you with anything. They claim that they can give you financial advice. Well, I was not asking them to give me financial advice. I was just asking them to explain to me how I could fill in the form. So I ended up calling the Australian Taxation Office, and it was at the Australian Taxation Office that they helped me, because Udemy wanted me to apply for a taxation number with the US, which obviously I was not going to do because I do not pay taxes in the US. So I called the Australian Taxation Office, I asked them for their help, and they actually helped me. Problem solved. Then the other thing with Udemy. When you set up your course, they allow you to set up the prices of your course. They have lots of tiers that you can choose according to the number of hours that your course, number of lessons, the content, etc. However, you set up the price, but your students will never pay that price, because they always put the courses at very, very low prices. So in the end, you end up with hours and hours of work doing your course, and being paid something like $1, $2 for each student enrolled, which actually I believe is exploitative. So in the end, I wasted. I don't think I wasted, because I'm quite proud of my courses and I'm quite proud of the content that I created. However, I feel that I'm highly exploited by that platform, because I worked hard. I published something that has value to my students, and teach them a skill, teach them something that will help them start their career, and I'm not being paid fairly for that, for my work. So Udemy basically exploits all the instructors they have there, because for them they're just collecting the money. They haven't had any work, basically, because the work is all on us. And then obviously they provide the platform. Yes, they have to do all the maintenance on the platform, but come on, if you get free money from the instructors, it really pays off for you if you have a platform like that. So I would say you should avoid, if you are thinking of planning a course like this, avoid Udemy, because you will feel really exploited. And if you lodge a complaint about your treatment, such as I did about the all Brazilian passport debacle and all the other things that follow, don't even bother, because they don't reply to you. They don't say anything about your complaint, nor they are willing to fix problems. So if you really are into publishing a course, do your homework, look for other platforms. There are other platforms that may, even if you have to pay, it may be worth it if you pay, but if you have a better return, then something like this, and then you completely feel exploited. I have my courses and I basically have absolutely no income from them, because Udemy does not provide any sort of help. I actually believe that they don't even advertise for the courses. They don't even put the courses out there so people can even see them. And when they do, the courses are at such a low price that I end up with nothing for more than 10 hours of course. So it's really disappointing, and I decided I should share this with you. So if you are really thinking about doing the same thing as I did, please do your homework. Study all the platforms that you find. If there's one locally in your country, even better. And try to stay away from Udemy, because they definitely not look after you. And that's all for today. I hope you like this insider today. I hope if you are really thinking about, or if you are working on a course, and if you're really investing in something like that, and you're investing your time and such a care of preparing a course, because you want to help someone, you want to use your experience to help someone else to achieve their goals. Really think about you and the people you want to help, and put your course in a platform that will actually allows you to be compensated from what you worked for, what you did, and obviously allows your possible students to find you. I would not recommend Udemy, as I said, and I'm fairly disappointed with my experience as an instructor. As I said, as a student, I had great experience. I did great courses, and I really enjoy them. But as an instructor, I think they really exploit the instructors, and they honestly don't care. They treat us really as a commodity. They don't care about us. They just ka-ching, 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 getting the money, and we get nothing, basically. So, but if you are there, if you are an instructor at Udemy and you have exactly the same experience as me, please head in the comments below. The more comments, the better, the more people see how bad it is. If you had a positive experience with them, please share as well. It's always good to know that something is good, or someone had a good experience. Please share. And if you have another possibly another platform that you want to suggest, please do as well. Put a like and subscribe the channel with a little click on the bell so you get a new insider every week. Before I go, I would like to thank you all for watching. See you next time. Thank you. Bye.